your big takeaway from 2021 in terms of the themes within the market that might continue?
You know, the consumer has been very aggressive in the new home market and the resale market. But I think the main theme that we've experienced, and you've heard about, you know, for months and months at this point, is just the lack of inventory that we've had across the market. It really doesn't matter what consumer group we're trying to serve. It doesn't matter where in the country. We're very, very low on supply and very high in demand. And it's been a tremendous environment. It's led to some challenges around the supply chain, but I would tell you, generally a pretty good environment that we've been operating under.
And the other theme, I guess, that you've talked about before with us and some of your peers as well is the digitization. Do you think that will continue post-COVID? It seems bizarre to me to transact on a property without seeing it unless totally necessary. But a lot of people seem to think that will continue.
Oh, well, I don't think COVID might be what originally stimulated this virtual environment, but I think we're well past that. You know, when I look at some of the things that we've done, you know, early in the COVID days, it would have been virtual appointments. It would have been, self-guided tours. We had inventory that you could reserve online. That was some of our early tools that I think were stimulated by COVID. But when I look at where we are today, this is really the way the consumer prefers to shop new brands. They do in every other industry. You know, a number of months ago, we introduced a first of its kind to-be-built platform, meaning the consumer from the comfort of their home can go online, pick a home site, pick a plan and elevation, reserve it. You know, the numbers are stunning. We've had, in the last year, something like 1,300 fully virtual sales. That means we had no contact with the customer. We've had, you know, since the start of COVID, something over 6,000 appointments. And all of this led to our most recent introduction, which is our newest brand venture. And that's a complete digital experience where we have a model, but we don't have sales personnel on site. And since we opened the first of its kind in October, well, we've taken more than 100 reservations, and we've seen the highest conversion to contract of any tool we've ever used. So I think it's here to stay.
Amazing, amazing, even if it's not quite for everyone yet. Michelle, you mentioned supply chain issues earlier, and clearly the price of lumber has been closely tied to that. We saw a big correction in lumber prices, but the last 4 or 5 weeks it's surged again. What's your view there, and how much might that pressure margins next year?
Yes, you're right. We had seen a reversal, right? A little bit back to more historic norms. And then over the last, let's call it 4 or 5 weeks, we've seen almost a doubling again. You know, normally we would see some relief toward the end of the year. I'm not certain we will. When I think about the chatter, what's happened with tariffs, when I think about the increase in starts and permits, and then honestly, the impacts of COVID, not to mention floods in Canada, I think we've had the perfect storm. I like to believe that, you know, as we move into the first quarter, we'll begin to see some normalization again. But you're right. If we don't, we'll continue to see pressure on margins as we move into next year.